Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching. By the way, I am extremely sunburnt right now. That's not a camera malfunction you're seeing. That is my burnt, crispy face. So just try to ignore it if you can. I'm sure it is distracting. But today, I want to do something a little bit different and maybe even a little ambitious for the resources that we have here on the channel. But I want to try to capture the sound of a bullet impact. So thankfully, I've never been shot at and I really don't plan on it, but I have heard from a lot of people who have, and I've even heard some crazy stories from some of you guys in the comments as well. And apparently it is a very distinct sound that you cannot mistake for anything else, especially when you're talking about, you know, bullets whizzing by your head and stuff like that. And even nearby impacts, from what I hear, can also be pretty loud as well. So obviously when you're out shooting like we do here on the channel, you don't really hear the bullet impacts very often unless you're shooting steel, because the gunshot is so loud that you just can't hear it. But I want to try to capture that sound, not necessarily of the bullets flying by, but the impacts of them hitting different stuff, to see just how loud a bullet impact would be if you were on the wrong end of a barrel. All right, so obviously the biggest challenge with making this video is going to be eliminating the gunshot sound so that we can actually hear the bullet impact. But I think I have an idea. So the camera that I'm using now is the only camera that I have that takes a shotgun microphone, which basically just eliminates all surrounding noises except whatever's right in front of it. So it gives you good audio, but it doesn't have a lot of background noise. So I think pointing this microphone at our target would be the best way to listen to our bullet impact without hearing as much of the gunshot. So I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to switch over to my Sony for the rest of the video so that we can use this camera and microphone combination to listen to these bullet impacts. So I'm going to switch over to that camera right now. All right, so now we're on the Sony, and you might notice that the audio is horrific, but we got our shotgun microphone down here facing the target, so hopefully most of that gunshot sound will be eliminated. And then we got a cord going up to our camera here, and we even have the decibel meter out with a GoPro facing it so that maybe we can get some decibel meter readouts on how loud these bullet impacts are. Although I'm not as concerned with that, I'm just kind of curious to hear these things hit these different targets and see what they sound like. Because if you saw the last video with the decibel meter, you know it's not the most accurate instrument in the world, but it is fun to play with, and maybe we'll get some pretty cool results. So the first target we're going to shoot is this big old industrial door here, and I'm going to try to get these impacts as close to our microphone as I can without shooting any of my cameras. That's another reason why I have the long cord going up to the camera. So let's step back and see what they sound like. All right, so first we're gonna shoot the 22 long rifle out of the Ruger 1022, and I was just gonna do like one pistol and one rifle, but I think the 22 might be our best chance to hear a bullet impact since it is such a quiet gun. So this would be a good time to have a couple suppressors right about now. But let's see what this sounds like on our big door down there. Sounded like a solid hit. All right, now I'm gonna do the 9mm out of the Glock 17, and this is definitely gonna be the most challenging one. It doesn't look like a small target, but I'm trying to get it as close to the microphone as I can without shooting one of my cameras or something, so there goes nothing. Whew, that's not as easy as it looks. And the 7.62 by 39 out of the AK-47. Which is easily the loudest gunshot so far. Alright, so I just came back to review the footage, and you guys probably already know this, but it did look like we were getting some readings on our decibel meter, and based off the audio that I heard, it sounded like we were getting some pretty cool bullet impacts as well. So I don't know if I clarified out there, but I stepped all the way out to like 120 yards so that I could get as far away from the microphone as possible and eliminate as much of that gunshot sound as possible. So on our door here, I obviously have no idea where our bullet holes are at. It's a humongous target, and we were really far away, so I don't know which caliber did which hole, but it was pretty cool to hear some of those impacts. So next, I'm gonna shoot this little cinder block wall I made, and obviously, it's a much smaller target than that big old door, especially from all the way out there. But I'll also be able to see when my bullets are hitting the target, whereas with the door, I was just going off what I heard. So let's do it. All right, once again, let's start with the 22 long rifle. So I shot once and it looked like it skimmed across the top of the cinder blocks and hit the door. Then I shot a second time and that one looks like it hit right in the middle of our little cinder block wall. All right guys, I'm skipping the 9mm for the cinder block wall because it's just too risky. It's such a small target and it's so close to all my camera gear. It's not worth me ruining a $1,000 camera. So we're going straight to the 7.62x39 out of the AK-47. Oh yeah, smoked it. All right guys, we're back on the big camera with the good microphone and I'm looking at this flip out screen and holy crap, I look even more sunburnt now than I did when we started this video. I might need to take a little break from all this stuff. But here's our cinder block wall. As you can see, quite a bit of damage. And it looks like this is our 22 long rifle. Either this or this, but I think it's this one because I thought I saw it hit more towards the middle when I was back there shooting. And then here is our 7.62x39 from the AK-47. Just blew the whole back end of it out and dumped quite a bit of shrapnel on the ground. So that is definitely a place that I would not want to be on the receiving end of a 7.62x39. That just looks terrifying. And it looks like we were able to actually capture some bullet impacts. When I walked up on the sound meter, it said 89.4, which if you guys remember the gunshot video that I did, that's about as loud as some of the gunshots we were getting. Now obviously gunfire is much louder than 90 decibels, but for what this sound meter does, if you compare it on that spectrum, that is about as loud as some of the gunshots we were getting. So for a bullet impact, that seems pretty loud to me. So it's kind of weird because I don't even know the results of this video until I go home and edit it. So technically, right now, you guys know more than I do until I go home and look at all this footage. But from what I've seen so far, it did look like we were able to, you know, capture some bullet impacts. And really my only goal here was to hear them. I just wanted to hear what it sounds like when bullets smack into cinder blocks or, you know, big metal doors. And hopefully we accomplished that today. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and I hope that y'all had a little bit of fun with me today. If you did, please let me know down in the comment section below. And if you'd like to help support the channel, as always, I will put a link to my Patreon in my description box and you guys can visit me over there. But if you did like this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up for me. I would really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time.